Hi, it's Jared from Strong Roots Farm coming to you with another cattle video today. And today this is coming from a question from one of my dedicated viewers. So today we're going to be talking about the bull specifically, but they want to know about cattle breeding, timing, how we do ear tag numbering perhaps, that's all a part of that, how we know when we want to have a calf, what date is best for our calving, all those types of things. So today it's going to be a pretty short video and probably a pretty elementary video when we get into this, but we want to talk about the timing of the bull and go through all of that. Stick around. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today as we talk about timing of calving, dealing with your bull, all those kind of things. So first, I want to talk about calving. When is the best time to calve? I want you to look out here how muddy and nasty and mucky it is. It is right now the last day of February, okay? So it's nasty, muddy, we've come out of the winter, and depending on where you are, this date is gonna change. This is not a good time to have a calf because of infection. The number one infection that I have seen from other people in calves is umbilical cord infections. So when they come out of their bomb, they'll have the umbilical cord sticking out of their belly. And if you're around a bunch of manure like this, around a barn where you can't move them through a pasture yet, you run the risk of having one of these infections. It's also not a good spot for calves to have this kind of a environment, right? Some of this mud, and that's really what we have is a mud farm right now, is kind of deep. So if they have a gate that they go through, it can really get deep. You'll see calves really kind of get up to their knee joint, hock joint there, and it's not good for a brand new baby calf. They can get stuck. We've seen oftentimes calves get stuck in the mud and it causes them to die. The mom can push them over, they get down and can't get up. So it's a bad situation. If you have a good barn lot with concrete or with rock like we have, you can skim things off and keep them safer. But if you're dealing with mud, that's a bad time to have a calf. Just to kind of give you some what do we do if this happens, and I have this from time to time, I'll have an oops. I'll have a calf that is born at the wrong date, a date that I did not plan on having them. In fact, I had one this year, and I'll talk about that in a second, but the main thing is that umbilical cord. So when I go out day one to check my calves, we typically tag, we typically give a Nasogen, which is kind of a breathing issue vaccination. I've heard that people will go ahead and give blackleg day 3, day 4, but I don't. I typically wait till the 3rd month to give my blackleg vaccination. But what I do is I will spray that umbilical cord with iodine. And so you can just go to a Dollar General, get you a little hair water bottle sprayer, put some iodine in it, spray that umbilical cord. That will help cut down on infections. And it's pretty cheap as well. So we talked about calves day 1. I have a video on what we do. There's a lot of ideas here. What some people think you should do, some people think you should or should not vaccinate. Some people think you should not give things for scours preemptively. And I have looked at that, and we typically do not. It is a standard thing that I put in my video to give a scour tablet or a scour liquid for a new calf. So they don't get scours because they're gonna lose that colostrum, that nutrition down. We have stopped doing that somewhat due to viewer comments. This year we will not give any scour medication for that. What you do is on you, okay? You have to make that decision. What are you unhappy about? But one thing that I recommend that you do on day 1, perhaps day 2, is tag that calf. And some people, just simply take a picture. I think that's a good idea. I like to take a picture of the mom and her tag, and I like to take a picture of the baby. 1, it gives me a record of the date of birth, but 2, it lets me know what the calf looks like compared to mom. But if you have all red animals, kind of like we have mostly red calves here, it's really hard to tell the difference in a baby calf if I don't have a tag in. So I tend to tag on day 1 or day 2. Doesn't hurt them. They typically will lay on the ground. I'll walk right up to them. All of our moms are good moms, and we give that calf a tag. All right, not to linger on this too long, let's talk tags real quick. So these are the easy tags. So this thing comes out straight. It takes a special gun to put these in, but I like these bigger flaps, right? They're unmarked. I have a special marker that we use, and I like the easy tags. I've used everything. I've used special button ones. I've had 3 different guns in there. And you'll notice there are probably 4 cows here today that don't have ear tags in that I have wrote down that as we run them through here, as we come out of this to the grass, we're gonna run them through the head chute and have to put tags back in them. That's because these button ones pop off, but the easy ones I've never had come out. So why do I like blank ones, okay? So first off, I can write our little logo on the back. I can write SRF for Strong Roots Farm. I can put something on there. I can write birth dates on here. And we have a numbering system. So our numbering system for a calf, it's a 4-digit number. It's the year first, so this is 2025. So everything born right now would start with 5, and then the month they're born. So if they're born in March, it would be 53. And then the last 2 digits are the number of the mom. So if they're born if the mom's number is 12, it would be 5312. That's how we do our calves. The mother's number is based off of the year they were born and the number of cow that we have from that year. So 12 would have been born in 2021, and she was the second one I have that came from 2021. These numbers don't mean anything. You don't have to do anything specific like this. You can buy pre-printed tags. It doesn't really matter. Just letting you know how we do it. I like to be able to look at the tag and see when they were born. Know my information without pulling up a spreadsheet. We put it in the right ear for steers and the left ear for heifers and cows. I like 2 different colors too. I've seen farmers do that, where the yellow is your cows and heifers and the blue is steers and bulls, okay? So do what you want to do there, just giving you my information. Let's get on to talking about Hank, our bull. Hey, Hank. So this is our bull, Hank, right? And so he is not in with the cows right now because we are getting ready to calf. And so we are expecting to calf towards the end of March into April. That is my favorite time to calf. If I could pick a specific day, I would want to drop calves on April 10th, okay? So we have Hank out right now, and typically what we'll do is pull him out at the birth of the first calf in the spring. So he'll come out, he'll go, he's in this pen in here, he has his own hay, and he's in there with another steer that we're shipping separate, has an eye issue, and so we're keeping them segregated. But he's separate from the cows in case one would come early. How fast do you need to get him out? And that's the question I get a lot. So a mom has a calf today. She obviously, if the calf is still in her belly, cannot get pregnant again, just like humans. But how fast will she cycle back that he could breed her back? I've heard as quick as 7 days, and I have seen this happen where a mother will have a calf in March, and very quickly, I don't get the bull out fast enough. And it happened this year where my very first calf of the year last year, then she had another calf in January. I had an oops this year. I didn't get him out quick enough. So this year I'm being a little more preemptive and pulling him out before we start having calves. Now, when do we put him back in? So he stays completely out of the herd. He will breed everything that is open, just naturally breed back. And since we like to have that April 10th calf, because calves that are born in Ohio after April 1st tend to have less issues. If you categorized all calves in Ohio before April 1st and after, there would be a significant change in death rates and sickness issues. That's what I'm finding. And I'm also noticing that on my farm. So it's not just the state's numbers. Calves that are born when it's warmer, born when we're out grazing again, not in the mud and the muck, all those things do better like we talked about. So we want to put him back in with the herd the end of June. So June 20th, maybe even July 1st, that's when we look to put Hank back in and create one herd again. Now, how long do you leave the bull in? Do you just leave him in all the time from there on out? Do you only leave him in for 30 days? What do you do? There's a lot of arguments about this. Not sure there's a right or wrong thing. I know people that never take the bull out. They just keep letting them breed back to back to back. They don't care when calves drop. That is not what we do here, but I know people that do that. I will put Hank in and I will leave him in for 90 days. Typically after that, we will bring all of the cows back up and do a pregnancy blood test. Just like your female human pee on a stick kind of a thing, except this is a blood test. You put the drops of blood on the stick. You could palpate, but it typically takes a little longer for a vet to figure out something. Typically 4 to 5 months, you can palpate and figure those things out. To a little more accuracy, I should say. But we can bring him back at 90 days and do a blood test. And so we'll do that and see if he bred everything. Another point to argue, so if you're a beginner and you're like, well, how long do I leave him in for? There are people that only like to leave the bull in for 30 to 45 days. They put that bull in for 45 days, then they put him back in the bullpen. They do not want him to stay with the herd. So what would this create? And I've seen it here before. If she does not catch on the first time, so he tries to breed her when she cycles, she doesn't take, you leave them in for 90 days, she takes again. Now you can have a May calf. She breeds all the way out at 90 days. She missed twice. Now you have a calf in June as it's getting hot. Is that really what you want to do? So there are people that put those calves or put that bull in with the cows for 45 days, 50 days, and they take him out. And if they don't breed, they ship them. They don't mess around, right? And I know farmers like that, and that's fine if you want to do your farm that way, but I'm small, okay? So I don't mind if she misses once. I don't like it. I want them to breed back, and most of our animals will. In fact, every one of them bred back at the right time last year, except for my one oops that bred early. So, but we're small though, so I don't want to ship something or wait 3 or 6 months to palpate to find out one of them did not breed back. I can't afford to go without a baby calf. So I just leave them in for 90 days. If she misses on the first month, you know, it happens, and he's gonna catch her on the second month. And so I just leave her in there. Now, once everything's bred, I can go back to one herd, reducing my workload. I don't have to watch Hank in a special pen, and I just leave them in with them all the time then. Now, this is another argued point. Some people say you should not leave that bull in. You should pull him out and keep him separate all the time so that you can tell if one slips. So what is the risk of leaving him in? And that slipping of a calf is the risk. So let's say she would get bred July 1st. Come August 1st, the bull's already out by then, she slips a calf, meaning she aborts it, right? She has a miscarriage. You would know. You have them palpated at 6 months by a vet. She's not pregnant, but she was pregnant on the blood test. She slipped that calf. You can ship her at that point. Whereas if you would have left him in, she could slip and then get pregnant in September and have a different birth date for a calf now. She's now on a different timeline, and it messes up your whole schedule. So that is the risk you run of just leaving them into one herd. Personally, if I get a calf every year, I'm happy. And I don't want to have them in the snow, and I don't want to have them in the mud. That's my main concerns. If they have them any other month, I can deal with it and fix that mistake. But if I take the bull out from March to June, I won't have them during the winter in the mud. That's really what I focus on. As I try to think about other questions about the bulls for beginners, like how many cows can one bull breed? Well, 20, 25, I think is kind of the standard number. That's what most textbook answers, I think, would say. You know, if I was taking a 4-H test, that might be the answer. They can do more than that though, especially if you have fall and spring calving cows, which we like to do because of our meat business. So I have about half of our herd that will drop calves August to September frame. And then the rest of them, I really like that April time frame. And so why do we do that? Because then calves that we're butchering as they're raised on grass, they're coming every 6 months, 3-4 times a year. I can butcher. You have calves being ready to butcher at different points in times because of different drop schedules. It does pay another headache. You do have to kind of watch what you're doing. There is more, tracking that's involved with that, but it's how we run our business. So that's why we prefer to do it that way. But if you have spring and fall cows, that bull can cover a larger herd. I will warn you, if he is covering more than that, you do run the risk of him missing one. Or if multiple cows are cycling in the same day, maybe he doesn't catch one, right? I've heard of bulls being broke down in their back legs because they're expected to cover too many cows. I've never had that problem. We're small enough, there's 17 cows here, 19 cows is the most we've ever had here. So we don't ever really worry about that. And half of them are in the fall, half of them are in the spring. So he's only breeding 8 to 10 at a time at the most. So we've never had that problem where our bull is overworked, he's missing because of that, those kind of things. But those are the issues that people are going to talk about when they talk about what your bull has to cover and are you overworking him. Kind of talked about this a little bit, the nutrition. I don't give anything special to my bull. I don't give any special nutrition to my bull. He gets the same thing everything else gets: good grass, good salt, good mineral program, clean water. That's all we give our bull. Our bull is pretty calm. There is a risk, and I've had this. We scratch our bull. I mean, he's friendly, but when he gets excited, he doesn't realize that he weighs 10 times more than me, or not quite. But you know, he can get excited and he can hurt me. And so if you have a bull that's super, super friendly, it's calm, and I like that because I don't have to worry about my kids being around him. But if he gets excited, and it's really what I keep my kids away, really when I watch, is when I'm letting him in to some open cows. So when I bring him in June, he gets excited. He's sniffing, he's snorting, he's been away from them, and he gets excited and he'll jump up a little bit, kind of like a kid playing, and he doesn't realize how big he is. And so I try not to be super friendly with him all the time, but we obviously don't hit him and beat him and make him mean, because you never know what the bull can do, especially with our little kids here. But nutritionally wise, he gets the same as everything else. He gets the same treatment as everything else. We don't feed grain, you know, all those kind of things. And we don't give him special medication. We don't vaccinate him yearly, and we don't give him an antibiotic. We don't do any of that stuff for our bull. We treat him just like our grass-fed cattle. Well, there you have it. I hope that video helps. So to wrap it together and try to give you good advice here, the best advice I can give you is to have a plan. If you have a plan of when you're gonna do what, and you write it down and you execute it, typically you'll come out right. So if you're just leaving them in all the time, expect to deal with calves in the snow and in the mud, and that's where you're gonna have issues. And it's hard for a small farmer. Now, a large farm, you still have these same issues, it's just more normalized, okay? And if that's what you wanna do, leave them in, just be prepared to deal with those issues. Have a gator ready, you're checking your cows all the time, those kind of things. But if you wanna talk about a breeding plan and setting timetables, there's calendars, there's apps, there's all kinds of stuff you can use to figure out when they're gonna drop. It is a 9-month gestation, just like a human, if you were not aware of that. But you wanna plan that out, and if you put a plan down on paper, 90% of the time you're gonna have success with it, and as long as you follow that thing out. We appreciate you sticking with us. If you watched all the way to the end of the video, please comment down below. Let us know if you do something different, or when is the best time in your area. Tell us. We like to have calves in this month, and we are located here. Really concerned. When do you have them in Colorado and Wisconsin? It's different than Ohio and Kentucky, I'm sure. So let me know. Comment down below and let us know that. And follow along with us, but comment what you want to see next. We're really trying to make videos that are good for you. So please comment, like and subscribe, all of those things. Until next time, thanks for watching.